All right, welcome to chapter 10, The Dynamics of Consistently Successful Trader. And they wrote this chapter in honor of me. They interviewed me and said, "You're the most successful, the most consistent trader we've ever met. Can we interview you so we can write this?" Right? Right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay. So I'm kidding. In chapter 10, Mark Douglas ties together the concepts of beliefs, probabilities, mental discipline to explain what separates consistently profitable traders from everyone else. Wouldn't it be nice to identify what it takes to be one of the 5%? Right? I, if you haven't seen the last few chapters, you really need to go and look at them because this chapter actually stands on the concepts of the beliefs, probabilities, and mental discipline that we've talked about in the past few chapters. So hopefully you're going in order. Douglas stresses that consistency is not about predicting every market move, but about adopting the mental framework of a professional. Thinking in terms of probability, staying emotionally neutral, not emotionless, but emotionally neutral, and executing your edge without hesitation or fear. Okay. The core concept in that trading success is 80% mindset and 20% strategy. I so agree with this. I really do. I mean, I've seen some doo-doo strategies that are profitable because the trader knew what they were doing, right? Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot he even said this. So, even a mediocre strategy can be profitable if executed with discipline, right? While the best strategy will fail if approached with fear, greed, and the need to be right. I have a friend. He was a trading monster. He was one of my mentors, and I was trading his strategy, and I was getting obliterated while he was making 30K a month without even really trying. Like seriously. And I'm like, what's the difference here? This was the difference. All right. So, key themes and concepts. So, let's talk about this. The professional trader's mindset. Consistency begins with fully accepting the 5 fundamental truths of trading introduced in chapter 8. So, go check that out. Professionals have no emotional attachment to individual trades. This is like, I need to get this on a t-shirt. If I was big into tattoos, I only got one, but if I was big into them, I'd put that bad boy across my chest. All right, maybe not. That's a little overboard, but professionals have no emotional attachment to individual trades. I have seen this out of the guys that I'm connected to that just bankroll. It's like, how was your trading day? And I was like, it was good, whatever. It's like, did you win or lose? And they're like, like they don't have an attachment to that W or the L. They're not like, dude, it was a banger today, or like, oh man, I took a loss, dude. I gotta like, I gotta go like feel better and color and I don't know. I need to put together a puzzle and get my crayons out because I had a bad day. Right? They don't do that. They just don't care. They're like, yeah, it was a win. Yeah, it was a loss. They just don't care. They're not attached to individual trades. Now you talk to them about their month, you're gonna get some feedback. Some more honest feedback that might have some like, yeah, this month's been a little tougher, you know, or yeah, this has actually been a really good month, and usually that follows up with, so I'm gonna work on risk management so that way I can keep it. All right. So they view them as just another probability within a larger series. They're not attached to that individual trade. They measure success based on execution and adherence to their plan, not immediate profit or loss. They do not, P&L doesn't matter to them. And I think sometimes when we're doing prop firms, this becomes the focus because that's how we move on, right? This is how we get funded. This is how we make payouts as P&L. So we get a little hyper focused on that, right? I guess same with your personal account. Yeah, because if you lose it, it's gone. If you make money, you made money. You feel good, and that can become your focus. And this is really a outcome. It's not a focus. I'm just messing up this document left and right. I need to stop clicking around. All right. So confidence without certainty. Okay, you can't have certainty in this game. If you are uncomfortable and like sitting in like not knowing what's going to happen, this is going to be hard. But you can train that. I have definitely trained myself in this, and it did make a difference. That's the 50 trade orb challenge. You can go check it out. Confidence without certainty. So confidence comes from knowing what you can execute, knowing you can execute your plan, not from predicting outcomes. So your confidence is going to come from your actual edge and knowing that you can execute your edge and not from the ability to predict outcomes, because you can't predict outcomes in this game. All right. Professionals focus on what they can control: entries, stop, and risk, and leave the outcome to probabilities. I love this because I love trade management. I have found that I have like a passion for trade management. I love it. So I get excited to manage a trade. So that's where I put my focus: my entries, my stops, my risk. That's what I do. Now, of course, I have to make sure I don't over manage my trade and get stopped out early, things like that. But whatever. I got a pretty good mechanical system I follow. All right. So the role of discipline. Discipline means sticking to your rules and letting emotions dictate, and not letting your emotions dictate your actions. All right. Without discipline, a trader is just gambling. People don't like that when I talk about this, especially in one community. I don't know if before I joined that they were all like, chanting, "It's not gambling if you make money," or whatever, man. But I joined and I became like an admin and, someone who was pouring into people. And I would bring this up and, they would kind of boohoo all over me. But after I, challenged some of them professionally, not very politely, and said, go read some stuff, go study this, go look at this, read this book. They came back and they're like, "I see what you mean." I'm like, "Yeah, it is gambling. It is gambling." All right. All right. So trusting your edge. This one's huge. If you don't trust your edge, that's the first step you need to work on, right? Once your edge is defined, your job is to execute every valid setup, even during losing streaks. Hesitation, fear, or skipping trades destroys the statistical advantage of your edge, or of a edge. Okay, and I also want to say this too. If you're sick and you need to take a day off, just do it. Okay, and don't like kill yourself and go back and be like, "Oh, there was a winner. I missed the winner." No, man, don't do that. You trade when you can trade, okay? Don't do that to yourself. Okay, but you need to trust your edge. If you don't have an edge or trust, you need to look around, you need to find one. There's actually a bunch of really good strategies on YouTube you can go get, and they're, as long as they're fairly simple and not overcomplicated. Whenever I'm listening to a strategy and then they give me like, "Oh, when the EMA crosses this and does this," I'm like, "All right," and they're like, but when the 4 hour is going in this direction, and then the 1 hour money flow is doing this, and when the Ichimoto cloud is doing this, then I start like hearing these things that are just stacked upon stack upon stack. I'm just like, nah, man, nah. There is so much discernment and discretion and intuition that goes into that kind of trading. In my opinion, it's not for most people. It needs to be kind of clear cut. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfectly clear cut. Like, I have discretion in my trading style for sure, but it needs to have a mechanical aspect to it. That way, your statistical edge. Like, you can go and look and figure out your statistical edge if you have one or not. Okay. The state of a zone trader. Trading in the zone, baby. All right, sorry. Douglas introduces the concept of trading in the zone, a mental state of total clarity and detachment. I have felt this. I do not live here. It would be nice if I lived here. I am here a lot of the times, but as you guys know, I've shared, I'm an emotional trader. So, and I still have a little bit of an ego that's attached to the market. So I end up feeling that. But what I'm good at doing is I'm good at identifying when I get pulled out of this. And then either I stop or I just continue to focus logically on my statistical edge and play that, even though I've been pulled out of the zone. I still I can rely back on that mechanical and keep going. But this is a place of peace. It really is. It's kind of cool. All right. It's not weird, it's not mystical. It's just like, you're actually looking at the market as if you were looking at a back testing. You have no way in on the market. It's not going to affect you. In this state, the trader is not trying to control, predict the market. They simply respond to opportunities based on their plan without hesitation. Execution is greater than prediction. 100%. Stop obsessing over whether the next trade will win. Focus on every trade that fits your edge. I'm serious. This is the tattoo of success right here. This is what I see the most in people, and this is what I see the most in me. I was an algorithmic maniac trying to predict based off of you name it. And I'm not kidding. You got some people just don't know. All right. All right. So execution over prediction. Confidence is earned by following rules. True confidence comes from repeated disciplined execution of your plan. So there is a balance between mechanical and discretionary trading. Okay. And I do have a balance the way I approach the markets. I do have discretion 100%. If I have a day and the market is just like going psycho in one direction, okay, I'm going to be trailing my stops. I will probably pull my TP away and like let it run. Okay. That's discretion. And a lot of times when I do that, I'll turn a 1 to 3 into like a 1 to 6. Okay. That's discretion. And that covers a ton of losses. It makes a huge difference in my statistical outcome. All right. What I don't do is before I get to a 1 to 2, I start trailing my stop out of fear and out of like, I don't want to take a loss. I'm in profit and I don't want to give any of that back. That's a totally different kind of discretion that you're bringing to your trading. All right. I hope that made sense because that is huge. All right. Confidence is earned by following rules. True confidence comes from repeated, disciplined execution of your plan. Neutralize emotional swings. All right. Don't let don't let your big win make you reckless or or loss make you fearful. Okay. So don't get so excited about your winners that you're just ready to jump right into the next trade because you're a baller, right? Or you're gonna like, oh, I'm on a winning streak. I'm gonna start double downing on my wins. Okay. I really don't think most people should do that. And then vice versa, your loss. Don't let it make you be fearful. Just go for it. Okay. And if you're trading an account that you're scared to death of every trade, there's kind of, in my opinion, there's like two major categories. One, you're risking way too much. Go get a $50 combine and risk $100 a trade for practice. That shouldn't affect you at all because it's going to take what, 20 losses or 25 losses to lose that $50 combine. That's fine, right? Like, who cares? You just reset that bad boy and go for another 20, 25 losses. No big deal. You're at $100 and you should have had weeks of training. Total great investment, in my opinion. Okay. Or you're so afraid because you can't handle being wrong. Okay. And I kind of had a mixture of both. So you have to be okay with being wrong, especially if you do not have a clearly defined edge and you're going to try and find one or build one. You're really going to have to be okay with being wrong. All right. Consistency is a process. Your results are the cumulative effect of your ability to execute your plan over many trades. All right. So, a lot of people can execute a strategy until they hit their first loss streak. Then they lose 5, 6, or 7 in a row, and they're like, I'm done. This strategy is, it's butt. I'm out of here. I'm going to find a new one. Okay. So that's a problem. Okay. Because you probably had the winning strategy for you and you didn't give it the opportunity because you couldn't handle the losses. All right. So you need to execute this strategy or your edge or whatever you're testing over many trades and understand there is a huge difference between back testing and forward testing. Back testing has almost no emotional buy-in. Okay. And a lot of times, depending how you're back testing, you have the ability to see the candles play out after the trade and not like during or while, like you understand what I'm saying. The candles are all there. Okay. If you're doing it like on TradingView and you're just scrolling back, you can already see it's going to be very easy to identify the winners. Okay. But, that's why you just need to be careful how you back test. Okay. And understand forward testing is a whole different game. You have to wait, be patient, learn to be uncomfortable. And yeah, it's a totally different game. So you need to understand that if you find a good edge that plays out in back testing and you forward test it and it doesn't, there's potentially a problem with you forward testing and your emotions that are playing in, or you just didn't see all the fake outs from the back testing because the candles were already printed, stuff like that. All right. Okay, so let's get into some reflection questions. Do I measure my success by a single trade or by my ability to follow my edge over time? How disciplined am I at sticking to my rules, especially after losses or wins or long periods of just sitting there out of boredom? Okay, a lot of people want to do something. So we're taught work hard, 9 to 5, make money. So trading's a little different. The less you work and the more you just specifically follow your plan and sit on your hands the rest of the time, the better off you are. It's a little different. All right. Do I trade with emotional detachment or do I react to the market as if it is personal? Do you plead with the market? Please let this be a win. Please let. All right. Do you feel attacked when it goes straight to your stop loss? Like you open the trade and it's just like bink, and kicks you out, and you're just like, and you take that personally, like I'm being hunted. All right. Am I capable of executing 20 trades in a row with no emotional adherence? I say take the 50 trade orb challenge. I created that very, very specifically, and it will blow people's minds if they do it. I'm telling you, it will blow your mind. It's already blowing people's minds because I got people doing it right now. And they're DMing me and they're talking to me and they're like, dude, this thing's unbelievable. Okay. It's not about making money, but it's about exposing you as a trader and what you struggle with and your challenges. And, that way you can figure out how to strengthen yourself and your weakness so you can come back and just be a monster. All right. 20 trade execution drill. I need to update this. I wrote this a while back. So it should say 50 trade orb challenge, but that's okay. We're going to do, if the 50 trade orb challenge is a pretty big investment. And if you just want to take your current strategy and do a 20 trade execution drill, you will grow as well. So focus on executing your edge flawlessly. That does not mean wins or losses. Does not mean wins or losses. Who cares if it's a win or a loss? Can you execute your edge flawlessly, regardless of a win and loss outcome? Self-assessment. After trading sessions, score yourself on discipline and rule following on a scale of 1 to 10. Visualize, practice, and spend 5 minutes of visualizing yourself taking trades calmly, without hesitation, and following your edge. You can do this. You can back test and practice this in like FX Replay or something, and it just helps you have, it just helps you practice. But there's nothing like forward testing. So, daily affirmation: I am a probability thinker. My job is to execute my edge and let the results play out. So basically, you identify the market, what the market conditions are, best of your ability, and for your TA. And then your edge shows up. And then your job is to execute that edge and go, I wonder if this will work out or not. Let's find out. but I'm okay if it doesn't. I'm just curious to see if my edge is going to work. Cool. Let's find out. Okay. The consistency you seek is not in the market, it is in your mind. That's a deep one. I like that one a lot. For real. I really hope this has been helpful to you. You can join the Discord down below. We have a pretty big free Discord. Then we do have a VIP room where we actually actively live trade the 50 trade orb challenge with you. Like I said, the strategy, it's strangely profitable. It's not supposed to be, really. It's supposed to expose you as a trader. Has a lot of challenges to it. It's extremely mechanical, and it's basically to pull you back to your roots and give you something mechanical that you can execute, which is like pretty dumb and easy to follow. And it really, really shows you and exposes like the FOMO and the fear and things like that. So in my opinion, if you want to come trade it live with us, you can. That is the VIP section. Other than that, everything else is free. And also, you can download the 50 Trade Orb Challenge for free as well. Just go grab it and do it to it. So, anyways, share this video out if it's been helpful. Think if you know someone who would benefit, send it on to them. And I'll see you guys in the next one.